Hi there, you're out there doing $300,000 worth of work as a commercial producer, but you're only getting paid like you're worth $100,000. And here's what I mean. Your agency's doing a lot for your clients. You're following up on claims, hosting quarterly reviews, offering HR support, tracking loss trends, prepping renewal strategies. I mean, this is real work. This is the kind of stuff risk management consultants charge $500 an hour for. But when you sit across from a new prospect to give your pitch, what do you say? We provide comprehensive coverage and great service. It's the same thing every other commercial agent says. Meanwhile, all that valuable work your agency actually does, poof, gone, as if it never happened. And look, I figure out how to make that exact same work impossible to be ignored. Hi there, I'm Randy Schwantz, and welcome to the Big Nation channel, the home of the triple threat solution, sales training, sales CRM, and sales management platform, all in one integrated system. All you have to do is change one simple thing. You don't have to work any harder. You don't have to add any more services. And I can guarantee you, it will triple your close rates overnight. I've seen it happen. But if you ignore this message, you'll continue to work hard and not get the credit you deserve, which impedes your growth rate and your retention rate. So why don't you get the credit you deserve? Why is it so hard to distinguish yourself against your competition? Well, the answer is simple. It's because you're offering deliverables that don't have names. And here's a kicker. If they don't have names, they don't exist in your prospect's mind. So what is that one simple thing you need to change to 3x your sales? Here it is. Start naming your services. That's it. Just like you do with your kids. Each one has a name. Each one has an identity. Imagine introducing your family, you, your spouse, and your 3 kids. We're the Thompson family. And someone says, "Oh, beautiful family. What are your kids' names?" And then you respond, "They don't have names. We're all just members of the Thompson family." Now that would be strange, wouldn't it? But for many agencies, that's sort of how they describe their great service, which is why it's so hard for the prospect to visualize what exactly you're talking about. So let me give you an example. Imagine you're sitting across from a prospect who's got a long-term relationship with their current broker. And you ask them, "When was your last claims review?" They might shrug a little bit. "I don't know, I think maybe we had something last year." They're just not sure. Now imagine you're holding a client engagement calendar in your hand and you flip to Q2, right here, April 12th, reserve reduction review. That's our quarterly claims audit where we work with adjusters to close claims faster and reduce reserves. Now, which one do you think has more stickiness in the prospect's mind? The quarterly phone call, it evaporates. Reserve reduction review becomes a tool with a purpose, a date, an outcome, and it lives in their mind. You're doing the work, but if you never named it, you never got credit for it. And that's the trap most agencies fall into. They over-deliver but under-communicate. And it keeps them invisible at the exact moment they should be unforgettable. So once I understood this, here's what I did. I invited my top 8 clients to come work with me to figure this out. We mapped out everything their teams did, not just the big stuff, every touch point. Policy audits, employee trainings, risk reviews, carrier negotiations. We named them all, not with filler words like check-in or service call, but with benefit-driven names tied directly to something the client cares about. Claim closure sprint, compliance fast track, premium leak report. And once those had names, we added timing. Something happened quarterly, others were just once a year. But now we had a timeline, a literal piece of paper we could drop in front of a prospect and say, "Here's what you get, here's when you get it, and of course, here's why it matters." And that is when everything changed. You're not just selling insurance anymore. You're scheduling results. And that's the key. Name services with timing create permanence in your prospect's mind. You move from sounding like every other agent to sounding like a business partner. And suddenly, you're not a cost anymore. You're a project manager for risk and compliance. And while your competitor is skating on with, "Well, we've always done it this way," you're walking in with a branded client experience and a schedule that makes them think, what was my agent doing all year? And when you give something a name, it becomes real. It creates an expectation. Let's say your client sees an injury cost impact report on the calendar for next month. Now they're looking forward to it. They remember it. They talk to their CFO about it. And when you show up to deliver it, they measure your value by what they get, not by what they pay. And that's how you crush the price conversation before it even starts. Now, something interesting will happen when you start naming what you do. You'll start to see the gaps in your own offering. We all did. We laid out the calendar and saw dead zones. The entire second quarter with no major activities. a quiet November where clients were zoning out right before the renewal. So we filled those gaps, sometimes with something small, other times with something more strategic, like an experience mod accuracy audit for those safety conscious clients. And each service we added became another bullet in the arsenal, another reason to switch, another deliverable the incumbent agent doesn't do, can't do, or just won't do. But it wasn't always a walk in the park. We had to train our producers on how to use these services to win. And yeah, it took some time, but we got out of the quoting business and into the winning business. And when it all clicked, man, it was game over. No hype, no fluff. They brought the service timeline into meetings and said, let me show you what you'll actually get month by month, quarter by quarter. And prospects leaned in because it wasn't the ordinary pitch. You know, we're local, we care, we have good markets, we have good service. It was a plan. And that's what clients want: predictability, accountability, and visibility. So let's stop the movie right here. I want you to stop being the insurance agent for a moment and imagine what it's like to be the insurance buyer. How many times have you heard the verbal promises? We're here to take care of you. But there was nothing in writing other than the insurance policy. Nothing documented. No source of accountability. No plan for helping the business control risk, mitigate claims, or attract the right carrier. Just verbal promises, we're here for you. Contrast that to having a written plan of action, tangible deliverables, not vague promises. What would you want to do? Live with the ambiguity or make a switch? Now, when a client says, we've had the same broker for 10 years, as a producer, you say, yeah, great. Hey, when they came out 90 days after renewal to review the OSHA exposure scorecard, or when they came out 90 days before renewal to benchmark your rates against similar types of competitors, or you couple how they went through that process. And all you'll hear is crickets, because the incumbent didn't name it, didn't frame it, didn't schedule it, and since there's no accountability with verbal promises, they probably didn't do it. You walk in with a clear program, specific deliverables, and you're helping your prospect discover exactly what's been missing. It's not aggressive, it's not obvious. And look, if you're watching this and thinking, this makes sense, but my team doesn't have time to name everything, look, we've all been there. Just start simple. Pick 5 services you do for every client. Claims, renewals, audits, training, onboarding, whatever it is. Name each one. Give it a short description tied to outcomes, and then drop it on a 12-month calendar. Print it, rehearse how to deliver it. Because you're not there to quote, you're there to win. And you know what happens next. Clients start calling you before you call them. Because when your work is visible, when it's scheduled and named, they expect you to show up. There's mutual accountability. And that's exactly what you want. No more last-minute scramble at renewal. No more mystery about what's my broker even doing. You become anticipated, not just tolerated. And that's when you know you've crossed a line from strategic provider to strategic partner. Now imagine what happens when you go beyond 5 services. What if you've mapped out 10 or 20 or even 40? What if you wrapped it all into a repeatable system your entire agency could use? Well, that's exactly what I built inside of Bignition. So if this clicked with you, if the idea of repositioning your agency around deliverables is starting to feel like the edge you've been missing, then don't procrastinate. Click the 5 Steps to Extraordinary Growth link in the description below. This is a free video training site for agency leaders that are anxious to grow. And I show you how to develop high-performing producers so you can double your agency's revenue in 5 years or less. And when you implement the entire $1 million producer playbook, you'll see the agency growth you've always dreamed about, but wasn't quite sure how to pull it off. And I also encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you get immediately notified when we drop the next episode. I'll see you then.